Hello everyone. Today's our topic is structure and functions of neurons. Before we go into our today's lecture, let me clear one thing. Some of the topics that you are going to learn in physiology, you have already learned into your biology. So particularly for those topics, we will not go into very much detail. Rather, we will spend our more time on the topics those are new to you. So today's lecture is such kind of topic, so we will finish this fast. So as we all know, neuron, it is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. Its main function is to receive various electrical stimuli and transmit these signals to other neurons or tissues. Whenever one part of our body it wants to communicate with other part of the body, whether it is entire system or in the form of message from one cell to another cell, it can be either in the form of chemical messages or in the form of electrical messages. If we are talking about chemical messages, it can be hormonal or in the form of neurotransmitter. If we are talking about electrical messages, it is mostly in the form of action potential. So whenever neuron they wants to communicate with each other, they use both methods, action potential as well as chemical. Now there are about 10 raised to 11 neurons present in the human central nervous system, and there are supporting cells which are known as glial cells, where they are 10 to 30 times more in number than those neurons. If we talk about contribution of scientists for explaining structure of the neuron and the nervous system, then mainly it was done by Camillo Golgi and Santiago Ramon Cajal. Now over here, Cajal, it is Spanish word. So J is pronounced as H, but in India many times we speak it as a Cajal. So Camillo Golgi, he has done lots of works in physiology. You must have heard about Golgi apparatus, Golgi tendon, organ, Golgi theory. And Cajal or Cajal has discovered interstitial cells of Cajal. Both of the scientists, they have done tremendous works in physiology, and for that they both received Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1906. Now, as all of you are well aware, a neuron, it is mainly formed of three parts: a cell body, dendrites, which is receptive processes, and axon, which is longer process that transmit signal to another tissue or neuron, and this axon it ends at axon terminal. In this figure you can see a typical neuron which is having multiple small branches, dendrites. They arise from the cell body. Now the cell body, it mainly contains nucleus, mitochondria, and along with very characteristic nasal bodies. You can also see a long slender single process which is known as axon. It can be myelinated or it can be unmyelinated. About this myelination we will learn into detail in later parts. Now at the end, this axon, it is divided into number of small terminals known as axon terminal, or it is also known as synaptic buttons or synaptic knobs. These synaptic terminals or knobs, they are filled with neurotransmitter which is inside synaptic vesicles. Now the cell body, it is mainly covered with a typical cell membrane which is lipid bilayer. It is also known as plasma lemma. Now the cell body, it usually contains one nucleolus, and sometimes there may be two nucleoli also. In case of neurons, the centrioles, they are absent. So we can say that cell, they has lost the capacity to regenerate. Now soma, The another name for this cell body it is soma or perikaryon. Now this cell body they contains the genetic information and it is capable of protein synthesis. From this soma the dendrites and axon they both arise. Now if we talk about cytoplasm that is present in the cell body, it mainly composed of two things, cell organelles and cytoskeletal proteins. Now these cell organelles they are mainly nasal granules, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus and lysosomes. Now these nasal granules they are also known as nasal bodies and they are stack of rough endoplasmic reticulum which are studied with ribosomes and polysomes. As we know that main function of endoplasmic reticulum it is to synthesize protein and lipids and steroids, and when they are studied with ribosomes their main function is to synthesize proteins. Apart of that, different cell organelles, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, you are already well familiar with all these organelles. Now there is also presence of cytoskeletal proteins. Now as the name itself suggests, cytoskeletal, what it means is these are the structure that provides structural support to the cell. These are neurofilaments, microtubules and actin microfilaments. Now all of you must have heard about Alzheimer's disease. That is the disease in which the patient starts to forget things with particular age. Now in the Alzheimer's disease, the neurofilaments they form a characteristic neurofibrillary triangle. About this Alzheimer's disease we are not going into very much detail in first year. Now coming to the next part of neuron, the dendrites. They are very small extension from the cell body. They increase the cell surface area many folds. In CNS there are around 10,000 dendrites per neuron. So you can understand how much it increases the cell surface area. Even on these dendrites there are small knobby projections are present which are known as dendritic spine. They further increase the surface area. Now these dendritic spines they are mainly present in cerebral and cerebellar cortex. The main function of these dendrites it is to receive the incoming cells from the other cells and transmit it to the cell body. Now these dendrites they can also cause protein synthesis as well as they can conduct the action potential. Now coming to the next part of neuron, the axon. Now usually per neuron axon is single in number and it is a very long tubular process and it transmits output signals to the target organs. Simply means in neuron dendrites they receive signals, they transmit it to the cell body. Now this cell body it further transmit it to the axon and this axon it transmit it to the another neuron or to any other particular tissues. Now this axon it arises from a thicker tapered area of the cell body and it is known as axon hillock or the initial segment of the axon. Now the neuron they can simply transmit action potential from one neuron to another neuron as well as they can generate their own action potential. So the neuron when it generates action potential it is generated in initial segment area or in first node of Ranvier. In case of motor neurons, what is motor and sensory neurons that we will discuss in later part. In case of motor neurons it is generated in initial segment and in sensory neurons it is generated in first node of Ranvier. Now the exoplasm. Exoplasm it is cytoplasm of axon. It contains mitochondria, Golgi apparatus and cytoskeletal proteins. Exolemma which is cell membrane of axon. It is also lipid bilayer. Axons, they are mainly of two types, myelinated and unmyelinated. When axons, they are covered with myelin sheath, they are known as myelinated axon. This myelin sheath, it is in PNS or peripheral nervous system. It is formed by Schwann cells. In central nervous system, this myelin sheath, it is formed by oligodendrocytes. This myelin sheath, it is mainly made up of protein, lipids and waters. The large diameter somatic nerve fibers as well as the preganglionic fibers in the autonomic nervous systems, they are myelinated. Again, about this autonomic nervous system, somatic nervous system, we are going to learn in detail in later part. The Schwann cells, they are named after the scientist Theodor Schwann. He discovered myelin sheath as well as the process of it known as myelinogenesis. He also described the structure of neurolemma. Now the Schwann cell, it wraps around the axon multiple times and it forms a cover of around 8 to 10 micron thick, and it is usually for the length of 1 millimeter over the axon. So for one axon, multiple Schwann cells, they form myelin sheath, and there is a gap in between which is known as node of Ranvier. So coming to the nodes of Ranvier, the gap between the Schwann cells, they are known as nodes of Ranvier. Over here, axolemma or the cell membrane of the axon, it is exposed to the extracellular fluid. Now this each node, it is 0.5 to 1 micron in length. Now when action potential, it travel into axon, it travels from one node to another node of Ranvier, which is known as saltatory conduction. This saltatory conduction, it is faster than the normal one, because over here, simply saying action potential, it jumps from one node of Ranvier to another node of Ranvier. So because of this, the conduction of action potential, it is faster in myelinated axon as compared to unmyelinated axon. Now if we talk about the structure of myelin sheath, the adjacent layers of Schwann cells, they stick to each other very tightly with the help of a protein. This protein, it is known as protein 0 and it is present in Schwann cell membrane. Mutation of this protein 0, it can cause defective myelination. There is autoimmune disease known as multiple sclerosis. In it, there is patchy destruction of this myelin sheath and it causes decreased conduction velocity in both motor and sensory neurons. What is autoimmune disease? Autoimmune means the body's own immune system, it destructs our own body's cell. Immunity means our body's ability to fight invading organism, that may be virus or bacteria. But in case of autoimmune disease, our body's immune system, it considers some of our own cells as a foreign and it destructs it, and it is known as autoimmune disease. Now the myelination, some of it starts during intrauterine life in 4th to 5th month, which means when child is inside her mother's womb, the myelination begins, and it is seen first in sensory fibers of the dorsal column system. Some of the other tracts like corticospinal tract fibers, they start myelinating after a baby is born and after 2 months of age, and the process, it gets completed around 2nd year of life when the child has already learned to walk. Now in physiology, I would like to clarify one thing. When we are teaching, we will say that some of this terminology or things you will learn in later part, because for the entire year you are going to learn about different system. Once the entire year is finished, you will be able to correlate all these things with each other, but till then you have to have some patience. Coming to the benefits of myelination, it increases the speed of conduction. As we discussed over here, in myelinated nerve fiber, there is saltatory conduction. Over here, action potential, it jumps from one node of Regnier to another node of Regnier, which is faster. It also reduces energy expenditure by the cell, and it also provides a protective covering to the axon. It is also responsible for the color of the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. Unmyelinated axons do not have myelin sheath. They are usually somatic nerve fibers of small diameter, as well as dorsal nerve roots, nerve fibers in the CNS, and most of the fibers in invertebrates. In case of unmyelinated nerve fibers, the speed of conduction of impulse, it is slower. There is continuous transfer of substance between cell body and axon terminal. It is known as exoplasmic transport. Various proteins and other cellular substance, they are required for the development, growth and maintenance of the neuron. So they are usually transported along the length of axon. Now this exoplasmic transport, it can be abolished by application of colchicine and other substances. Colchicine, it usually disrupts the movements of microtubules, while other agents, they usually block the process of oxidative phosphorylation. Now the exoplasmic transport, it is made of three types: anterograde transport, retrograde transport and transneuronal transport. Let's discuss this one by one. Anterograde transport, it is transport of materials from the cell body to the axon terminal. It can be usually mapped by a leucine. What it means that how it is transported, we can observe it with the help of this. Most common substances that are passed by anterograde transport is neurotransmitters. Now the anterograde transport, it is of two types, fast and slow. In fast anterograde transport, the speed is around 400 mm per day and it is done by kinesin. The materials transported, they are usually organelles, vesicles and membrane glycoproteins. The speed of slow exoplasmic transport is around 0.5 to 2 mm per day, and the usual materials transported by this is actin, neurofilaments and microtubules. Next type of transport is retrograde transport. Over here, there is transport of substance from the axon terminal to the cell body. Its speed is around 200 mm per day and it is done by the substance dynein, and we can map this retrograde transport with the help of horseradish peroxidase. Now this retrograde transport, sometimes it is also harmful because it transports different viruses and other toxins from axon terminal to cell body. Coming to the examples of retrograde transport, there is transport of viruses. Most common is chickenpox virus. It reaches cell body from the nerve terminals, particularly in the skin, by retrograde transport. The rabies virus, it also transports from axon terminal to the motor neuron, and from there it transports to the spinal cord and then to brain where it multiplies. There is also transport of tetanus toxin in motor neuron ending. There is also some beneficial substances that are done by the retrograde transport. There is transport of nerve growth factor. There is also reuptake of synaptic transmitters like norepinephrine. It is released at the nerve terminals and rapidly removed from the synaptic cleft by reuptake into the presynaptic neuron. Last transport is transneuronal transport. As the name itself suggests, it is transport from one neuron to another neuron. Certain substances like nerve growth factors, they are transported across the synapse from the presynaptic neuron to the postsynaptic neuron. This particularly helps in maintenance of synaptic contacts. Synapse, it is functional connection between two neurons. They are not connected with each other physically, but it is more of a functional connection. Now let's discuss functions of different parts of neuron. First, cell body. It mainly maintains functional and anatomical integrity of the cell, and the synaptic transmitters, they are synthesized usually in the nasal bodies or nasal granules, and they are transported to the axon terminal by anterograde transport. Next is dendrites. So dendrites, they receive impulses from another neurons and they transmit the impulses towards the cell body. Axon. Now this axon, they can generate action potential as well as they can simply transmit action potential arriving from the cell body. Axon terminal. These axon terminal are filled with vesicles. In these vesicles, the neurotransmitters are present, and when action potential arrives, these neurotransmitters, they are released from the axon terminals and they attaches with another neuron or tissue and carry the impulse over there. For the growth of neurons, various factors are required. They are neurotrophins and other growth factors. Neurotrophins, they are trophic proteins to the neurons. Trophic means something that provides nutrition or related to nutrition. These neurotrophins, they promote nerve growth and survival. They are usually produced by the nerves, muscles, glands and astrocytes. The most common known neurotrophins, they are nerve growth factor, brain derived neurotrophic factor, neurotrophin 3, neurotrophin 4 and 5. Let's discuss these neurotrophins one by one. Nerve growth factor, it was the first neurotrophin to be identified. It promotes the growth and survival of sympathetic nerves and some other sensory nerves. Other neurotrophins, they are brain derived neurotrophic factor. They promote growth of peripheral sensory nerves. They usually act through tyrosine kinase A. Next is neurotrophin 3. It promotes growth of cutaneous mechanoreceptors. It acts through tyrosine kinase A, B and C. Next is neurotrophins 4 and 5. It acts through tyrosine kinase B, but its exact function, it is not known yet. Maybe someone of you can find out its function someday and get a Nobel Prize along with it. Now we have seen the types of neuron according to myelination, but neurons can be classified in multiple way, like from numbers of processes, length of axon, functions of neurons and pattern of dendrites. According to the arrangement of axon, it can be unipolar or pseudo-unipolar, or it can be bipolar or multipolar. Unipolar, it means it is having usually a single process. Pseudo-unipolar, it means after originating from the cell body, axon, it is divided into two processes, central and peripheral. Most example is dorsal root ganglion cell. Next is bipolar cells or bipolar neurons. Over here, two processes, they arise from the cell body. One of them work as dendrite and another one as axon. The most common example is bipolar cells of retina in human and neurons of ganglia of the vestibulocochlear nerve and olfactory receptor neurons. Last one is multipolar neurons. Over here, many processes, they arise from the soma, out of which usually a single one is axon and rest work as dendrites. The example is neurons present in spinal motor nerves. Next type of neuron is according to the length of axon. They are divided into Golgi type 1 and Golgi type 2. Golgi type 1 they have short axons and Golgi type 2 they have long axons. Next is division of these neurons according to their functions. They are mainly divided into sensory neurons, which are also known as afferent neurons, and motor neurons, that is efferent neurons. So what is sensory neurons? They carry impulses from the receptor to the central nervous system. Example is, suppose if we insert our hand into a hot water bucket, then we will feel that heat from our finger. The senses, they will be transported to our brain, and that is known as sensation, and these are carried by sensory neurons. And once brain feel that heat, what will happen is we will take out our hand out of it if it is too hot, and the command generated from the brain, it is traveled through our spinal cord, then in our hand, and that is by motor neurons. So in motor neurons, impulses, they are carried from central nervous system to the target organs, and in sensory neurons, the impulses, they are carried from target organs to the central nervous system. Next type of neuron is according to the dendritic pattern. They are either pyramidal cells or stellate cells. Pyramidal cells, over here dendrites of these cells, they are spread like pyramids, and in stellate cells, over here they are radial shaped spread of dendrites. They are usually seen in cortical stellate cells. So with this we finish our today's lecture. Now I am going to summarize it. પણ આપણા જે ગુજરાતી મીડિયમના સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ છે એમના આ સમરી આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં રિવાઇઝ કરી લઈએ. તો આજનું જે લેક્ચર છે આપણું એ હતું સ્ટ્રક્ચર અને ફંક્શન્સ ઓફ ન્યુરોન વિશે. યુઝ્યુઅલી એક્ઝામમાં આમાંથી કોઈ લોંગ ક્વેશ્ચન નથી પૂછાતો, હાર્ડલી 1 or 2 માર્ક્સના ક્વેશ્ચન પૂછાય છે. બટ આ લેક્ચર છે એ આપણા અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડિંગ માટે છે કે જે ફર્ધર લેક્ચરમાં હેલ્પ કરશે. સો જો આપણે ડિસ્કસ કરીએ તો જે 9 છે ન્યુરોન્સ છે એ છે આપણી સેન્ટ્રલ નર્વસ સિસ્ટમ અને પેરિફેરલ નર્વસ સિસ્ટમ જે કમ્બાઈન થઈને જે નર્વસ સિસ્ટમ બનાવે છે એનો બેઝિક પાર્ટ છે, જેને આપણે સ્ટ્રક્ચરલ એન્ડ ફંક્શનલ યુનિટ કહીએ છીએ. અને આ જે ન્યુરોન્સ છે એ બહુ જ મલ્ટિપલ એમાઉન્ટમાં આપણી બોડીમાં પ્રેઝન્ટ છે, અને એના સપોર્ટિંગ સેલ્સ પણ પ્રેઝન્ટ છે જેને ગ્લાયલ સેલ્સ કહેવાય છે. અને એમની જે સંખ્યા છે એ જે ન્યુરોન્સની સંખ્યા છે એના કરતાં પણ બહુ જ વધારે છે. જો આપણે એક ન્યુરોનની પર્ટિક્યુલર વાત કરીએ તો એના સ્ટ્રક્ચરની અંદર કોમન વસ્તુ હશે એની સેલ બોડી, ડેન્ડ્રાઇટ્સ અને એક્ઝોન. જે ડેન્ડ્રાઇટ્સનું કામ છે એ છે બીજા ન્યુરોનથી જે સિગ્નલ આવશે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલના સ્વરૂપમાં એને એક્સેપ્ટ કરવાનું અને એને ટ્રાન્સમિટ કરશે એ સેલ બોડી ઉપર. સેલ બોડીની જો વાત કરીએ આપણે, જો આ ડેન્ડ્રાઇટ પ્રોસેસની વાત કરીએ તો ડેન્ડ્રાઇટ્સ પ્રોસેસીસ મલ્ટિપલ હશે અને એ શોર્ટ હશે. ત્યાર પછી જો આપણે વાત કરીએ સેલ બોડીની, તો સેલ બોડીની અંદર જે હશે એ સબસ્ટન્સીસ હશે કે જે સેલના સર્વાઇવલ માટે હેલ્પફુલ થશે અને એને એનર્જી પ્રોવાઈડ કરશે. એમાંથી ઘણા સેલ ઓર્ગેનિલ્સ હશે કે જે બીજા ટિપિકલ સેલ જોડે મેચ થતા હશે, પણ જે ન્યુરોનનું એક ડિફરન્ટ સ્ટ્રક્ચરની એની અંદર જે છે એ છે નિઝલ બોડી અથવા નિઝલ ગ્રેન્યુઅલ, કે એની અંદર જે એન્ડોપ્લાઝમિક રેટિક્યુલમ હશે એની ઉપર રાઇબોઝોમ્સ હશે, અને એનું મેઇન કામ છે ન્યુરોટ્રાન્સમીટરને સિન્થેસાઇઝ કરવાનું. ત્યાર પછી જો આપણે વાત કરીએ એક્ઝોનની, તો યુઝ્યુઅલી દરેક ન્યુરોનમાં એક્ઝોન એક જ હશે અને બહુ લોંગ પ્રોસેસ હશે, અને એ રાઇઝ થશે જે પાર્ટ ઉપરથી સેલ બોડીના, એને કહીશું આપણે એક્ઝોન હિલોક. હવે જો આપણે આ એક્ઝોનની વાત કરીએ તો એ એન્ડમાં નંબર્સ ઓફ બ્રાન્ચીસમાં ડિવાઈડ થઈ જશે કે જેને કહીશું આપણે એક્ઝોન ટર્મિનલ. હવે જે આ એક્ઝોન છે એ બે ટાઈપના હશે, ક્યાં તો માઇલિનેટેડ હશે અથવા તો અનમાઇલિનેટેડ હશે. એક્ઝોનની ઉપર જે માઇલિનેશન થયું હશે એ ક્યાં તો શ્વાન સેલથી થયું હશે અથવા તો ઓલિગોડેન્ડ્રોસાઇટ્સ થયું હશે, ડિપેન્ડિંગ ઓન ઇટ્સ પ્લેસ. જે શ્વાન સેલ હશે એ મલ્ટિપલ ટાઈમ રેપ થશે એક્ઝોનને, અને અમુક પર્ટિક્યુલર લેન્થ સુધી એને કવર કરશે. ત્યાર પછી બીજો શ્વાન સેલ આવશે અને એ ફરી રેપ થશે. જ્યારે પણ આ મલ્ટિપલ શ્વાન સેલ હશે તો એ બેની વચ્ચે ગેપ હશે અને એને કહેવાય છે નોડ ઓફ રેનવીયર. જો આપણે માયલિનેશનના બેનિફિટ્સની વાત કરીએ તો એક, માયલિનેશનના લીધે એનું જે કન્ડક્શન હશે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલનું, ઇમ્પલ્સીસનું, એ ફાસ્ટર થઈ જશે. એનું રીઝન શું છે કે ભાઈ ઇમ્પલ્સીસ અથવા જે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલની વાત કરીએ એ માયલિનેટેડ નર્વ ફાઇબરની અંદર એક નોડ ઓફ રેનવીયરથી બીજા નોડ ઓફ રેનવીયર ઉપર સીધું જમ્પ કરશે. બીજું એ હશે કે જે માયલિનેશન હશે એ એક્ઝોનને પ્રોટેક્શન આપશે. ત્યાર પછી જો આપણે એક્ઝોનની વાત કરીએ તો એક્ઝોનની અંદર કન્ટિન્યુઅસલી ડિફરન્ટ સબસ્ટન્સનું મૂવમેન્ટ ચાલુ જ રહેશે. જો એ મૂવમેન્ટ હશે એ 3 ટાઈપની હશે. જો સેલ બોડીથી એક્ઝોનના એન્ડ તરફ જશે તો એને કહીશું આપણે એન્ટિરોગ્રેડ. જો એક્ઝોન ટર્મિનલના એન્ડથી સેલ બોડી તરફ જશે તો એને કહીશું આપણે રિટ્રોગ્રેડ. અને જો એક ન્યુરોનમાંથી બીજા ન્યુરોનમાં ટ્રાન્સપોર્ટ થશે તો એને કહીશું આપણે ટ્રાન્સન્યુરોનલ ટ્રાન્સપોર્ટ. આ જે ન્યુરોન છે એના ગ્રોથ માટે પણ બીજા ફેક્ટર્સની જરૂર પડતી હોય છે, જેને આપણે નર્વ ગ્રોથ ફેક્ટર કહેતા હોય છે યુઝ્યુઅલી, અથવા તો ન્યુરોટ્રોફિન્સ કહેતા હોઈએ છીએ. ટ્રોફિન્સ એટલે કે ન્યુટ્રિશન રિલેટેડ, જે નર્વને અથવા ન્યુરોનને ન્યુટ્રિશન પ્રોવાઈડ કરે છે એને કહીશું આપણે ન્યુરોટ્રોફિન્સ. જો આપણે આ ન્યુરોનના ટાઈપ્સની વાત કરીએ તો એ મલ્ટિપલ રીતે એનું ક્લાસિફિકેશન થયું છે. એક તો છે એનું માયલિનેટેડ અથવા તો અનમાયલિનેટેડ. ત્યાર પછી જે એક્ઝોનની જે લેન્થ છે એના રિલેટેડ હશે, ગોલ્ગાઈ ટાઈપ 1 અને ગોલ્ગાઈ ટાઈપ 2. ત્યાર પછી કેટલા બ્રાન્ચીસ એરાઇઝ થાય છે સેલ બોડી પરથી એના ઉપર એક હશે તો યુનિપોલર, એક જ એરાઇઝ થશે ને પછીથી ડિવાઈડ થઈ જશે તો એ થયું સ્યુડો યુનિપોલર, 2 એરાઇઝ થશે તો બાયપોલર અને મલ્ટિપલ હશે તો મલ્ટીપોલર. ન્યુરોન્સને એકોર્ડિંગ ટુ એના ફંક્શન પણ ડિવાઈડ કરવામાં આવે છે, સેન્સરી અને મોટર. સેન્સરી એનો મતલબ કે સમથિંગ રિલેટેડ ટુ સેન્સેશન. જો આપણે કોઈ વસ્તુને જે ફીલ કરીશું, કોઈ વસ્તુ ગરમ છે, ઠંડી છે, કોઈ વસ્તુની આપણે સ્મેલ લઈશું, કોઈ વસ્તુને આપણે ટેસ્ટ કરીશું, અને એ બધી વસ્તુઓ આપણા બ્રેઇન સુધી લઈ જશે સેન્સરી ન્યુરોન. મતલબ કે પેરીફેરીથી સેન્ટર તરફ જશે, બ્રેઇન તરફ, એને સેન્સરી કહીશું. અને જો કોઈ કમાન્ડ આપણે એક્ઝિક્યુટ કરવાનો હશે કે ભાઈ આપણે કોઈ વસ્તુની સારી સ્મેલ આવી અને એ વસ્તુ આપણી સામે મૂકી છે, આપણે એને ખાવી છે, તો પહેલાં આપણા બ્રેઇન સુધી એની સ્મેલ જશે, એ નક્કી થશે કે આ શું સારી વસ્તુ છે કે ખરાબ છે. અને ત્યાર પછી આપણું બ્રેઇન કમાન્ડ જનરેટ કરશે અને એ જશે આપણા હાથ સુધી, આપણી ફિંગર સુધી, એને કહેવાશે મોટર ન્યુરોન્સ. અને ત્યાર પછી એ પર્ટિક્યુલર વસ્તુ આપણે ઉઠાવીશું અને એને મોઢામાં ટેસ્ટ કરીશું. અગેન ટેસ્ટ આવશે આપણે તો એ જશે માઉથથી બ્રેઇન સુધી, એ થયું સેન્સરી. બ્રેઇન એને કહેશે અગેન ટેસ્ટ લઈને કે ના ભાઈ આને ચ્યુ કરવાની વસ્તુ છે અથવા તો ખરાબ વસ્તુ હશે તેને બહાર કાઢી નાખીશું, અને જો ખાવાની વસ્તુ હશે તો આપણે એને ચાવીશું. તો એના માટે જે કમાન્ડ એક્ઝિક્યુટ થશે એ મોટર. તો આ 2 મેજર ટાઈપ થયા ન્યુરોનના, સેન્સરી અને મોટર. આ સિવાય પણ બીજું એક ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ક્લાસિફિકેશન છે કે જેને આપણે નેક્સ્ટ લેક્ચરમાં જોઈશું. આજના લેક્ચરમાં મેં ઘણી વસ્તુ એવું કીધું છે કે જે આપણે લેટર પાર્ટમાં જોઈશું તો પછીથી જોઈશું. તો એના માટે તમારે એના રિલેટેડ કોઈ પણ ક્વેરી હોય તમારે તો એના માટે થોડો વેઇટ કરી લો. એકવાર આપણું નવ ફિઝિયોલોજી પતે ત્યાર પછી તમે એના ક્વેશ્ચન કરી શકો. એ સિવાય તમને બીજી કોઈ પણ ક્વેરી હોય તો તમે એ રિસ્પોન્સની અંદર પૂછી શકો છો. So with this we finish our today's lecture. Thank you very much.